Varian, how are you?
Hey Matt, doing all right?
Okay, thank you for spending a few minutes getting Biscuit Blitz with me this afternoon. So let's start here. Before I start the Biscuit Blitz 5-minute countdown clock, I want you to tell our viewers who you are, how long you've lived in Charlotte, and what it is you do out there.
Sure. Hey everyone, my name is Varian and I have lived in Charlotte for 7 years. Moved here in 2013. What do I do? I'm the community manager at Camp North End. So I've been there now 3.5 years, basically since day one. And my job is to help champion the vision long term, but also bring it to life in the short term. So that's marketing, events, partnerships, all kinds of things. We even had creative mornings out there a few years ago, the very first thing we ever did. So yeah, basically just trying to build a community.
I love to tell people that, we were one of the first major public events to happen at Camp North End, and it turned out afterwards that we might have been accidentally punk when we did that.
That's right. Didn't quite realize all of the warehouse permitting things that needed to happen to be able to have large events, but we got it sorted out after that.
It was early on. What are you going to do? We were making mistakes together, and as many as we possibly could make as quickly as possible.
That's right. Fail fast, they say.
Fail fast. Okay, let me start the clock because I want to hear more about you, Varian Shrum. You're such an amazing Charlottean. You're out there doing so much work. The first time you ended up on my radar was when you did the living room project in South End. I think that was a Knight-funded placemaking project.
Yeah, Knight Foundation and 880 Cities. They're based out of Toronto.
Yeah.
They have this annual program called the Emerging City Champions Program, and I was fortunate enough to be part of the first cohort in 2015. And yeah, I would say that was, at that point, I'd been in Charlotte 2 years, and I kind of had my own thoughts about my neighborhood and the city, and that grant was just a great opportunity to push me to try to impact where I lived. And really cement passion for public space, the power of public space, how it can bring people together, which has been so formative then, carrying through to what I'm doing now.
It's such a thread through your work in the community from there through so many other awesome projects. And certainly it's a cornerstone of the Camp North End culture is gathering people together, connecting them. So what's been going on in the midst of this pandemic? That's such a challenged part of our society, of life as a community.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely like hard to wrap your head around. Okay, my job is gathering people in real life, and now I can't do that. So what do we do instead? And that it's been a challenge for sure. But for the most part, our businesses are hanging in there, and I would encourage everyone to please continue to support small business. I think there was a big wave at first, and now we've almost become desensitized after so many months, but businesses every day are fighting to stay open, so please support. And I guess to that end, I've been shifting my focus to be more on encouraging people to support small business, not necessarily come out for a big event. It's really about the tenants who make up Camp North End, without whom there wouldn't be a Camp North End.
Yeah, totally. So let's shift now. We're about halfway through the countdown. So I want to talk about you personally now. You and I had a quick conversation a few weeks back, and I sort of admired the lens through which you were viewing this challenging period in our world. So how are you doing personally, and what have you done personally to sort of shift and persevere through it?
Well, I definitely have felt all the stages of grieving through this whole time. I mean, denial, anger, all of that. And I think by the time, I don't know if I'm totally at acceptance, but I think by the time we were having that conversation, I had realized, wow, I find myself wishing away the days, and that turns into wishing away weeks and months. And am I going to wish away this whole year of my life? Like, I just didn't like that thought. And so I decided that, like, the hardest part of this is that it's so indefinite and uncertain. Like, it just is a prolonged disaster that has no end. And so we've lost all sense of rhythm. And so I decided, Okay, at that point, the election was 100 days away. 100 days is a sort of bite-sized, manageable, psychological amount of time.
Right.
So I thought for 100 days, I'm going to do something every day to do my part in this election. I'm going to register myself and others to vote. I'm going to sign up to volunteer at the polls, to work the polls. I'm going to donate to campaigns and read articles, educate myself, talk to friends and family. Democracy NC has a postcard writing campaign to get people out to vote. So doing something every day has just helped break down this time into more bite-sized pieces, which makes it a little more manageable.
Well, and also it sounds like you're kind of, in a way, you're intentionally crowding out those sort of negative thoughts and stuff. Not that we want to deny those feelings, because I think that's part of processing them, but you're also crowding them out with positivity and ways to sort of contribute and be, I don't know, like to contribute value to your community during this time, which is something you're all about anyway.
Yeah, and contribute value from afar, this is something I can do, something I can control from sitting at the table. I don't have to go out. In a small way I can contribute and feel like I can wake up on November 4th with a clean conscience, knowing I did everything I could.
Yeah.
So yeah, just trying to adapt in these crazy times.
Well, in closing, I need to ask you about your houseplants because I'm admiring all the greenery behind you. Has this been a project during the pandemic as well, or is this has greenery inside always been a part of your home life?
I would say it's always been a part of my home life, but I have especially appreciated this very low risk, soothing activity during this time that I'm spending months in my house. I've got probably 50 plants in here, but some of them are really small, from that all the way up to a big tree. So yeah, it's just fun to watch them grow. And again, another way of just passing time, like you can see the passage of time visually with how a plant gets bigger or longer. So
well, I love the way you're approaching this period of time in our story. And, I love calling you a fellow colleague and a friend out there in Charlotte. So thanks for spending a few minutes with me. Thanks for all you're doing, not just at Kent North End, but in Charlotte, all over. And thanks for taking good care of those plants behind you. I'm inspired. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go to the nursery today, pick something up.
Sounds great. Thanks, Matt. I really appreciate the time.
Thanks, Varian.